Hi, my name is Noah Crane, and I'm really grateful to be here with you today. I want to start with asking you a question. How many of you think that when you change how you think about abundance, you can really shift what it is? Like when you change your thinking, you can really shift your life. Well, me too. But I didn't always think that way. I want to take you back with me to Israel, a long time ago, into my childhood. So come with me on this journey. I grew up in Israel to a single mom who loved me with all her heart and soul. And I had an amazing childhood. I grew up in a kibbutz. If you don't know what a kibbutz is, I'll explain it. It's a community of like 400 to 500 people, and they all work together and share the profits. And as a child, it was the most incredible childhood. Imagine, we were running free, and with all the other kids, and we slept in a kid's house. We didn't even sleep with our parents. We had our own children's house where we slept at. And we had so much love around us, and family, and connection. And life was really free and happy. It was amazing. But at 8 years old, my mom married my stepfather, who's American. And at 11 years old, they decided to immigrate to the United States. And to say the least, life would never be the same. I went from a secure place with a lot of love and a lot of people that understood me to the streets of Chicago. Imagine the streets of Chicago, right? I mean, it was like the red carpet was just pulled from underneath me in one day. We had no money. We had maybe $1,000 because we came from a kibbutz, 2 suitcases. So scarcity was a really big conversation in my life. And the kids made fun of me in school. They made fun of my name, Noah's Ark. I didn't feel accepted. I didn't feel loved. I had no one to go to. And to make it worse, my stepfather was mentally and physically abusive at home. I was a very lost child, and I became a very sad child. And I had no one to really comfort me and make me feel better and nowhere to go. And I got very disconnected from myself. I didn't know even who the girl in the mirror was. I had no connection to her. And my parents talked about rich people, well, like they were all the way up here, and we were all the way here. Like there's not even a possibility to ever be here, because these were like different kind of people. So I went through my life like that. And it was very difficult. And I think most of all, I hung out to a lot of hope that things would get better. And I really connected a lot also to scarcity. I became to really see how scarcity was around me, and I connected to it. And you know how it is when you connect to something? I really believe we create what we connect to. So scarcity was one thing, and then I also compared myself to people because everybody else seemed to be so much better off than I was. So I didn't love myself either, so I always compared myself to other people. And competition became a really big part of my life because competing to be better or competing with someone else to have more, because I really had nothing that I thought of. I had my health though, but at that time, I didn't really realize what an amazing thing it is to have our health, right? So the years went by, and one night I had a big fight with my stepfather. I got really, really upset, and we were upstairs, and my room was downstairs in the basement, so I run down to the basement, and I get into my bed, and I'm sobbing, crying, and I look up on top of my bed, and there's a huge poster by Albert Einstein, and it read, "Great spirits have always encountered opposition from mediocre minds." That poster gave me a lot of hope. I was thinking, maybe I'm a great spirit, and maybe he's mediocre. But that night, I made an incredible decision that would change my life forever. I said, I know that this is hard, this is my childhood, and this is what it is. I have to live with it. I can't change it right now. But I realized that my childhood is not forever. It's going to change. I'm going to be an adult. I'm going to be 18 one day, and I'll be able to create my own life. And I said, you know what? My childhood is like this, but my adulthood is going to be amazing. And I made that decision, and I put it as a possibility into my future. And I had no idea what I was doing at the time, but I said, my adulthood is going to be incredible. Then the years just kind of flew by and passed by, and I was in my 20s, and I was dating. I never took my power into my own hands, and if a guy liked me on this here, I went with him, and if a guy liked me over here, I went with him. I kind of like lived like the wind. I don't know if you've ever done that. You know, just going back and forth. Until I got to my 30s, and something all of a sudden, some light bulb went off. And I remembered all of a sudden that possibility that I made there in the past. And I said, you know what? I made that promise to that girl, and she deserves to have an amazing life. And the only way I'm going to do it is by taking control back into my life, standing back in my power, which was nothing that I've done before. I read an incredible book by Louise Hay. You've heard of her, right? It's called You Can Heal Your Life. And it was all about self-love and connecting back to yourself, connecting back to who you are. And I started getting connected to that girl in the mirror. I started to get to know myself a little more. It was a process. It took time. And then what I realized out of this whole thing is that I needed to take my control back, but I had to break that cycle of no comparison, no competition, and scarcity, right? All that stuff that was in there that I kept competing, and scarcity and comparison, they were all there. I had to break that cycle. I had to break it. Otherwise, I was going to have the same thing that I grew up with. I was going to have that in my life. And so I had to break the cycle. I had to shift, and I had to create something different. And I think life is like that. We have to break old cycles, shift, and create something different. And that's what I was committed to. So I took control back into my hands. If you look at, there's a paper in front of you on there, on the table. And it's got no comparison, no competition, and no scarcity. I want you to start with comparison. So I always compared myself to other people. So when you're comparing yourself to other people, how does it make you feel? One word, okay, when you're comparing. So I say comparison is the biggest thief of self-love. The biggest thief, okay? Because when we're comparing ourselves to other people, we are not loving ourselves. We're always thinking someone else has it better, someone else's life is better, okay? We're always looking outside ourselves, and the answer is everything, the love, the connection is inside of you, okay? So how do you feel if you ever compared yourself to anybody else? How did that make you feel? Not good. So write down in one word. Would it make you stressed out, unhappy? One word. When you compare yourself to someone, how does it leave you feeling? Within one word. And what I wanted to do is change comparison to admiration. What if instead of comparing people, right, we learn to admire them? Right? Because we're all unique, we're all one of a kind, we all came here with special gifts, so there's no reason to compare ourselves to anyone else. Right? So when we stop comparing, we can find connection. So when you find admiration for each other, you can find connection with other people, what does that leave you feeling like? So write it down when the arrow goes over there at the other end. When you're finding admiration for other people, you can admire beauty, you can admire talent, you can admire so many things about people, right? But you can still keep yourself in such a high space because we don't have to compare ourselves to anybody else. Everybody got something? Okay, great. And then we're going to go to the next one, competition. So when we're competing with people, right, we're always, like for example, my husband is a dentist, and there's a dentist right next door to us. And I say, there's enough teeth for everybody, right? You don't have to compete on teeth. There's no reason. Okay, but we're always competing with each other. So instead of competing with each other, I wanted to bring connection in. What if instead of competing, we connected with people, found the love, collaborated with people, helped each other? There's no reason to compete. Compete just strips it away. So under competition, write down one word, how it made you feel as a feeling when you're competing with other people, as a feeling. What's the one word? If I compete, I feel anxious, I feel unhappy, I feel ungrateful. Whatever it is for you that you feel when you compete. And then take the arrow when you're shifting, you're breaking that cycle, and you're not competing anymore. How does that make you feel? Maybe it makes you feel more grateful, more fulfilled, more happy. So whatever it is for you, just write that down. Everybody's got something? And then the third one is the scarcity. Now, scarcity was a very big in my life, like I said, because I didn't know how to create abundance because all I knew was scarcity. And my mom, like I said, always made me feel like that's the way it is. And I want you to think of a desert, right? A desert is very dry, right? There's no energy moving, it's dry. And there's no energy, there's no movement, right? And that's why it's kind of like scarcity, like you're just dry there, right? And I want you to think of something like green and blooming and flowers and Florida, right? There's energy, right? There's things moving, growing, blooming. You know, when you're connected to abundance, abundance is energy. It's an energy you connect to, it's a higher energy. If you think of people that always say they don't have money, do they ever have money? Somebody who says that they don't have money. But then they don't have it, because when what you connect to is really what you become, you know. So under scarcity, write one word. What does it make you feel when you're in that scarcity conversation where you don't have enough to pay your bills? You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what's next. Put one word under scarcity, and then shift it over to no scarcity, where you're in abundance now. So we're shifting scarcity to abundance. How does that come together for you? How does it make you feel when you know you have everything you've ever needed in your life? It's so much of a better place to be and stand, right? Anybody want to share what we wrote down?
Happy.
One at a time. Go ahead, Sim, go ahead.
Happy.
Happy? Okay, how about for all three? Share all three. What did you do for comparison?
Curious.
Curious? Okay, and for competition, when you're not competing?
Grateful.
Okay, beautiful. And for scarcity?
Sad.
No, when you're not in scarcity.
Yeah,
Happy.
Yeah.
Good. I love that. That's so much of a better place to be, right? How about you, Doug?
Me?
Sure,
Comparison,
Debbie.
I'm happy.
Uh-huh.
Competition bad. Scarcity, I feel lonely. Admiration, awesome. Connection, loved, and abundance is grateful.
Beautiful. How about you, Doug? Thank you for sharing.
Okay, comparison, sad. Admiration, hopeful. Connection, love. Competition, nervous. Scarcity, low. And abundance, happy.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Stephen? Go ahead, sweetheart.
Comparison, I said lacking. Admiration, love. Competition, anxious. Connection, joy. And scarcity, fear. And abundance, gratitude.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share? Go ahead, Jay. Thank you.
Competition, I put unique. Admiration, I put loved. Competition, I put challenged. Connection, I put complete. Scarcity, needy. And abundance, oneness.
Right. Now I want you to actually say I am, and all to the left side of the sheet where you created something different. So say I am, and go ahead, do it at your table. Just say I.
Right side, right?
Yeah, on the right side, the positive stuff, the admiration, the connection, and just pronounce it as I am. So you start one at a time and just go around the table. So you can start, yeah.
I am uplifted. I am worthy. I am empowered.
That's beautiful, Jay.
I am loved. I am complete. I am oneness.
Beautiful. Sim?
I am appreciative. I am grateful. I am happy.
Beautiful. Deb?
I am awesome, loved, and grateful.
Beautiful. Stephen?
I am love. I am joy. And I am gratitude.
I am love. I am uplifted. I am open-hearted and giving.
Doug?
Happy, I'm healthy, and I'm abundant.
Beautiful. Alan?
I am filled with love. I am connected. I am complete.
Nice. Keep going around.
I am inspired. I am full and worthy.
Beautiful. Sunny?
I am happy, I am high vibrating, I am excited.
Petra?
I am happy, I am blessed, I am grateful.
Beautiful.
I am elevated, I am united, I am prosperous.
Beautiful. Connie?
I'm connected. I am fulfilled. I am grateful.
Nice.
I am excited, I am happy, I am energized.
Beautiful. Wow, how does that leave you feeling?
Exactly who we are.
Yes.
Amazing, right? So beautiful. Well, that's why I wrote my book, because I say the grass is greenest where you are, right? The grass is greenest where I am. And we can all come back to that amazing feeling, knowing how truly amazing we are, and really connect to it. Whatever we connect to, we actually create in our lives. So we have to keep recreating ourselves, reconnecting to how we really want to see ourselves in the world. Because our feelings in the present moment really shift how we feel in our lives. So it's keep focusing on that. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with me. And I'm grateful for each one of you for being a part of this amazing community. And I love you. Thank you. Namaste.